Hello, welcome to another Two Whatever's Way Up. I am your hostess today, Hope, and here I have my two lovely gentlemen here with me, Jesse,
Hello, I'm here. This is a fun one to talk about. I love seeing this Samurai Jack style.
and we have Seth over here.
I'm very stoked to talk Irish lore and cartoon saloon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I always like to bring up animation from different countries, because we don't really get to see or appreciate them as much,
Right.
like not only is it animation, which is always like always under attack for being kids, and
Mhm.
then the fact that it's always foreign animation as well, like people don't understand there's more than just American and Japanese.
Yeah, but one of your previous movies was Fantastic Planet, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
another. This one's Irish. Previous one was French. And
Love it.
also
Trying to
we talked about Ghibli not long ago with Porco Rosso. That's Japan. So we're finding all kinds of stuff all over the place.
It's like finding out that they make cheeseburgers all over the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like it wasn't unique to us.
yeah. What do
Oh
they
my
call
gosh.
a Big Mac in over there in Amsterdam? A Royale with cheese.
I was actually just watching this video about like Chinese street food, and they have these Chinese hamburgers,
Mm.
and they've been around for like 3,000 years. And but we think Americans are, invented the hamburger, but like
No,
no, yeah, like
they
the
weren't they
chicken.
invented in technically the modern version is from Germany because Hamburg, Germany. Wasn't that the
Right,
modern
but
interpretation of it?
there's a Chinese hamburger, basically. It's
Yes,
not
yeah.
called
Yeah.
hamburger, but like it's literally
It's
bun,
a patty
meat
of meat.
with
Yeah.
veggies, and
Uh,
like yeah. So I was
yeah,
like,
I, I
okay,
would I would venture to guess that as soon as we turned wheat into bread, we started putting beef inside of it. I would just
oh yeah,
venture to guess.
Is that why they were trying to just harvest wheat for 45 minutes of Rebel Moon Part 2? Because they just wanted a lot of cheeseburgers for their parties?
I will exit this episode at the beginning. We are 3 minutes in, and you can have two hosts on this one.
no, I'm gonna join you, Seth. Jesse can just
One
be
host.
by himself.
Rebel
This
Moon
is
Part
Hope's
2.
pick, but Jesse has to do the episode.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'll
Jesus
go back
Christ.
to sleeping through my alarm.
Rebel Moon Part 2 Patreon Film Rescue at some point, we promise.
I might have to
Some
wait for the part 3.
Oh, I will fucking leave. Jesus Christ. Anyways, what are we talking
anyway,
about? What are we talking about today?
yeah. So we're talking about the movie Secret of Kells.
Yes.
And I know I discovered this when it came out because I know Seth and I were outside of the podcast. We were like, oh well, isn't this like a Netflix film? It wasn't quite a Netflix film, but they had like Netflix exclusivity for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it was like
okay.
when they were trying to like push Netflix because this was like 2009. They were
Yeah.
just starting like their streaming
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. House
So
of
they're just
Cards, I think, would start up pretty soon after this.
So they're just trying to grab everything they could to like throw at you, be like, "Here, we got everything," and then
Yeah.
now they have nothing.
Hmm.
But
No, they got that Jennifer Lopez movie, Atlas, that Titanfall movie that's not Titanfall. The
the
movie that's
AI
meant to be.
movie that's fucking at the
Uh
wrong goddamn time, yeah,
huh. AI ain't that bad. Really? I think a lot of people in the
yeah,
film industry would disagree with you.
yeah.
Anyways,
Anywho, so anyways, I mentioned that earlier because Seth and I have seen this film, big
I had
fans
never
of the
seen this.
film. Jesse, I want to know your take real quick because you were like, "What is this?"
Yeah, first off, I couldn't find it, and I realized the reason I couldn't find it because I wasn't putting a second L in Kells. So I was looking up the Secret of
Ah.
Kell, and that's why it was listed in the calendar. I was like, Secret of Kell. I was like, okay, I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm not finding this anywhere. And it was just, apparently it was on Amazon, even though it's Netflix exclusive. It's not there anymore. So that's strange.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I had to rent it on Amazon too.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
And it was only
odd.
like $2 or something. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was odd. But yeah, totally worth it. I mean, it's not even a total feature length film. It's only 75 minutes, which is interesting. That's
Mm.
I have no problem with that. It's interesting. We've had films like that before. It wasn't Fantastic Planet also only about 75
Yeah.
minutes? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's because when you do dive into animation studios that are not like fully funded, like Disney or Ghibli, or there it's hard to make that much film with
It's
the
Yeah.
hard to get a
film.
movie to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
a minute of animation is like a month of work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stacking on an extra, what is that, 15 minutes total? That's a extra year plus just to
Yeah.
get it to that 90-minute mark. So, and I think the animation rules are 75-minute minimum for the Oscars, which this
Yes.
did go to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did it win though? Is the question.
It did not, and it lost to Up, which is a fucking travesty because this movie's about something and Up's about nothing.
Up has
I
a
think
really great first 5 minutes, and then after that, I just kind of zone out.
there's oh yeah, the first like 5 to 7 minutes is I cried my eyes out, but then after that it's like, oh, it's a cute kids film again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that movie Gran Torino. It's just that movie Gran Torino. That Clint Eastwood film. It's literally the same. You never thought about that, did you, Seth?
Fuck.
My head hurts.
You
high
didn't
enough
see
for this shit.
it. You didn't realize it till now.
I am
No,
not high enough for this
no-
shit. It's a little
no.
old man who beats up people with a little Asian boy. God damn it.
Yeah, it's Gran Torino.
Oh my god. So
I need a hard reset now. We've mentioned Rebel Moon, Atlas, and blew my brain. Well, okay, I want to talk about Kells.
please,
That's what I
Seth,
want to talk.
please do us all a favor and take over, please, for the love of fucking Chrome Kill.
So I found this film through our dear loved one Devin. When he and I were roommates before we were friends. We lived in kind of like a men's housing unit together for young guys, and he and I were
That
the movie.
doesn't sound strange at all.
Listen, when you come out of cult backgrounds, there are culty things in the background. Oh God. That's where my mind went. I was imagining the old man up doing all the racism in Gran Torino.
I just Googled it real quick, like, up Gran Torino. There it is. There it is.
So
Where
I
is this episode going?
we're here to talk about Gran Torino. It's another secret surprise episode. No, so Devin and I were the big movie buffs, and he was like,
Yeah.
he knew I was into Ghibli, and so he was like, dude, you have to check out Cartoon Saloon. I got to show you a couple of these. So he showed me this one, and then Song of the Sea. We watched kind of like
Yes.
at about the same
Love
time.
that.
That's the
Love
sequel,
that.
right?
Same
Spiritually,
director.
yeah,
Same
yeah.
It's considered
Same
a trilogy. It's a trilogy, kind of, but it's
It's a trilogy in the way the Cornetto trilogy is a trilogy. It's like
Yeah.
we're
Barely
talking about
linked.
the same. Yeah, we're talking about the same things here, but it's not really like functionally plot linked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my introduction, and I
Mhm.
immediately fell in love. I'm like the most Irish that you can be, heritage wise, with a little bit of French stuffed in there. So like I felt like I was accessing my roots. Yeah, and it's so gorgeous and uniquely animated. I'm still
yeah.
God, yeah.
every time I watch it, I think about the shot up in is it Selleck? How do you say the Brendan's dad's name? The main
Yeah,
abbot,
sell
Selleck. Up in his room on the floor, he's got that huge design, and he's on one side, and then Aiden's on the other side, and then their characters move. I'll do it on screen for you guys. They move like this on a big
Mhm.
flat page because it's abstract and it's like there's no scene geometry and it's just
Yep.
a gorgeous tapestry and you're watching movement on it. And I was like, this is in the first like 15 minutes of the movie. By
Oh,
the
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
This is like early on in the movie, and I'm like, I love asymmetrical, asynchronous animation. I love when animators are like, oh no, we're not trying to make this look real. We're trying to make this look surreal.
Mhm.
God, what a great movie. How did you find this, Hope? Where was your introduction to Cartoon Saloon?
I think it was on Netflix, quite honestly. Like, cause I always scoped and I've always been a big anime nerd. I've always been like big cartoon person, and like more so than just like, oh, cartoons. Like I like dove into it.
Yeah.
Background, like I'm gonna take us. I'm gonna take us way back, gentlemen. Remember when G4 was Tech TV?
Oh God, yeah, that
Woo!
was
Okay.
forever ago.
Welcome back to
So
college. I remember what the cafeteria smells like.
Yeah.
right. So this was like Tech TV. This was like between '06 through '09 type of deal,
Yeah, yeah.
and um, they had this block called Anime Unleashed, and it was always at like 2 in the morning or some shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it had Japanese animation shows that were indie and horror, which you never got anywhere else. Like
Whoa.
there's some titles like Boogie Pop Phantom, there's Serial Experiments Lane, Silent Mobius, Read or Die, like other shows. Like you would never know of these in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
America at the time unless you were like me at a teenager at 3 a.m. watching this shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's when my eyes like opened and I'm like, okay, there's more animation. I need to find more animation that's like this.
Right.
Um, and that's why like when Netflix came, I was like, that's my treasure trove, and I went through everything. And I was obsessed with this. I really was. I loved it. Uh, One thing I want to point out to you guys. So towards the end of the movie, you see when it's like snowing out and they're all running into the towers and everything. If you pause, each individual snowflake is different from the others. They
I noticed
in
that.
Whoa.
they
I noticed that.
individually
Yeah.
make different snowflake patterns, just like real fucking snowflakes.
Damn.
Like so, if you go back and look at that, and just pause one scene. They're all different, and I just stood there. I'm like, bro, like
That is
who does
wild.
this? Who does this? Like who fucking paints individual snowflakes? Like that is where it got me. I was like, yep, this is my film.
What a boss animation move to be like, it is so important to display snowflakes as being individual that we're going to make that part of the animation. Whoa.
Mhm.
Well, the overall
Craziness.
theme of the film is that creativity is a thing that will save you, or it
Yeah.
will is a
Yeah.
thing that will defeat the enemy. Even though it gets real dark real quick at the very end of this film.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately, creativity is what brings back the spark of hope to this town that's now derelict by the end of the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and even like the main villain. I was talking about this off air that there's the thing that made me smile is that the name of the dark one, the dark god, is named Crom. That's the god from the Conan series. I was like, is
Isn't that
this part
cool?
of the Conan the Barbarian universe?
No,
Well,
but it's all true mythology.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a real life Irish pre-Christian deity.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
Crom take it from that. So Crom is so Conan is basically ancient Irish lore, I guess.
That's what he was obsessed with, was like
Mhm.
the non-Christian histories of the world are so much more interesting. And
Yeah.
so when you go back far enough, you can find like these like much more like nature-centered deities that are, obsessed with creativity and nature and making and reproducing.
Mm.
That's why they're all fucking too.
Yeah.
Well,
Christians took all the fucking out of the gods and I hate it.
well, if you
Yeah.
notice, like every 5 minutes, they're just like the fucking pagans. Screw the pagans. Don't do
Yeah.
this pagan ideology. So that's another thing. But
And yet they stole that from the pagans for Christianity so they could put Christmas on December 25th. Oh, Christianity's a lie. Anyways, so I love the fact that the end, when the main villain is defeated, he's defeated via creativity by drawing a circle around him and being creative. What was that game that he used? What was it? Was it Okami? That wolf
Okami.
that wolf game?
Yes.
It reminded me a lot of that. I was like, oh yeah, did they? I think that they may have taken some inspiration because Okami came out back in the early 2000s. They may have taken a little inspiration from that.
I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okami's what? Oh, dude, I need to put that. I just got a PS2 emulator. I need to put that on my list to
Ooh.
Oh,
to
it's so good.
download.
It's so good. I think I still have a copy of it somewhere. Yeah.
Or what's that other one? It's not drawing, but like the animation style is so funky, and it's like you're this little like dude, and you roll up all the things into
Katamari.
Katamari! Katamari
Katamari!
Damacy! Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
also got
love
vibes of
Katamari.
I also got vibes of Psychonauts. Remember Psychonauts? The
Oh
game that everybody
yeah.
said was like going to be revolutionary, and it was like, it's a standard platformer, but it was
Yeah.
visually cool. You know, it was fun. So, but yeah, I feel like the animation is the thing that it's so unique and so fresh looking because compared to everything else that was happening back in the 2000s, like it was always CGI stuff. America was putting out
Mm.
just
Yeah.
CGI animation. Like 2D animation was phasing out. It wasn't the
Mhm.
last thing that was put out in 2D animation in America at the time was the Princess and the Frog.
That sounds
Which-
Yeah.
right. I remember
Yeah.
that being a big deal.
because
Because
that
it was
thing,
like going
yeah,
up against like Tangled and Frozen, and like
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that was the Frozen era.
yeah. Well, I mean, the problem with Princess and the Frog is that not only is it a boring story, it's also that the animation was like fine. It's very, very, very standard. Very
It's
It
standard.
standard, but it was actually kind of revolutionary. It was the first black princess. It was
I mean,
it gave
yes, there's
it
that.
gave some they brought in beignets and hot sauce to the fucking Disney World, okay? I was happy.
Thank God for a little flavor in that white hellscape.
God
That's a fair
damn.
point. I forgot about that. That is a fair point. It'd be
They
nice if
brought
people
me
actually saw it.
gumbo and beignets, and I was happy.
But
Also,
yeah.
Keith David is the villain in that movie. He's pretty
Right.
fucking fantastic.
And
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, dude. He's so
Keith
good.
David, like I've idolized him since, well, like the voice acting. I've idolized him since Gargoyles. Like
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Jordan Peele, when?
When
Say the word,
when
buddy. We're
do
ready.
it?
We're ready.
we need
Is he
this.
actually doing that, or is that just like a rumor?
He bought the rights to it. He got
Oh,
that far.
okay.
We need the.
I need it.
Got any more of them gargoyles?
When the House of Fox fell apart, he was quick to get in there and say, "Yank, gargoyles. That's for me."
You better get Jonathan Frakes in there too, man. He's part of that too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyways,
he was the villain in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, we don't get like whimsical stories like this anymore. When was the last time we got something like this in any capacity?
Yeah, like childhood escapism stories. That's very like old literature. It's not
Mhm.
the go-to thing now is like team up a kid with an adult and do like a reverse lone wolf and cub. That is Disney's like cup of tea right now.
Right.
Yeah, like Up. That's it. Yeah.
They're
I
taking
mean,
all the villains out of the stories now too. I love that this movie has like a very specific villain type where like
Yeah.
there's the darkness outside, there's the darkness of like the approaching army, but then there's the darkness inside.
Mhm.
Jesse, I liked you had pointed out that this is a story about what fear does to leadership.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That creativity gets suppressed when fear is thrust upon society. Like I got vibes. I said it was Attack on Titan crossed with Never Ending Story.
This Does this
Okay.
predate the Attack on Titan manga? I think it.
It's
No.
like it's parallel.
Yeah. Might be influenced, possibly. Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's I think it's pretty parallel because I remember reading the manga. So I remember reading the manga like
Same fucking year.
yeah, it's
Oh,
parallel.
parallel thinking. There you go.
Yeah, I remember because I was reading it and I would get so pissed off because it would only be one chapter a month instead of one a week.
Ugh.
And um and like
So it's like
chapters
the
were
release schedule of the show. And then it takes
that
forever
no
to
that
release anything.
that's why they took forever to release it because
Yeah.
it and then it went through like hiatus because the author was sick and blah blah blah. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was a whole thing. That's what actually happens to a lot of mangaka because they get overworked and they get sick. Like if you look up the health facts for mangaka, 90% of them end up in the hospital.
Whoa.
Like
Jesus.
there's actually a manga about mangaka and creating manga where and it's these two kids. It's called like Bakuman, I want to say.
Mm.
And and like it's about like the writer and the artist, they team up, and like partway through, one goes to the hospital because they're overworked, and
Of
it's like
Damn.
course.
it's facts, because like mangaka are way over, because they're like pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. Like, and I get it. Like, I wasn't like mad at the author, for taking one a month, but I was like, fuck, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But
I
yeah, like
haven't finished. I haven't finished Attack on Titan. I'm telling on myself.
but the
it's okay.
influence of uh like we were saying, like creativity is the thing that is being suppressed because an authoritarian society doesn't think it has any value. It reminds me of when Winston Churchill wouldn't defund the arts
Yep.
during World War II,
That's right.
and
That's right.
everyone asked, "Well, why are you not defunding that? We need that money for the war." And his response was, "What are we fighting for?"
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like if you're only fighting for like industry, like a thing that can easily be replaced, like the industry can easily just fix itself. It's just create and sell. That's all it is. It's
Hmm.
or build and sell. That's all it is. Whereas actual creativity, you have to actually put in
Fight
effort,
for.
fight for, put in emotion, put in thought, put in real value to it.
Right. Like
That's yeah. When that gets defunded and gets taken away, like it is happening now in the film industry with using AI, it makes it
Yeah.
worse. You know.
this is why travel is so important. Like travel is part of the creative process because you
Hmm.
can't access aspects of our actual reality without going to them
Yeah.
and like experiencing them
And
for yourself.
that's part of the movie. It's he had to leave his village to go to the forest
That's right.
to to this oh, it was so good. The whole like the fact that brother Aiden, the crazy guy, he was I love the parts where he would come in because he's so whimsical, like where he's looking for the eye of Colum Krill, and he's like, and the eye of Colum
Yeah,
Krill,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
just
yeah.
goes back to like destroying stuff, and he's like, and the eye. I'm like, he was so like, I wanted to be friends with that dude, like.
Right.
He's Yoda, but he's tall.
And then we have our main the abbot, voiced by Brennan Gleeson.
Yeah.
Love that man.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I
He
thought
hasn't
was really
done.
cool. He was like
Yeah.
I think he was the big draw of that film because he was everyone else was like a smaller bit, and Brendan Gleeson's like, yeah, let's fucking do some Irish shit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. He loves his heritage. I mean, he's done plenty of films that are Irish oriented. I mean, in
Oh
Bruges,
yeah.
he's playing an Irish hitman. What was the one he just did recently? Banshees of Inisherin.
Yep.
hmm.
Yeah. He loves doing Irish films. So
Oh yeah.
He wasn't he in that Beowulf movie? I think Beowulf and this story, Secret of the Kells, have like a lot of
I think that's
rooted
Ray Winstone.
similarities.
I think it's Ray Winstone.
I'm pretty sure Brendan Gleeson was in that.
I
I'm
don't know.
I'm
Looking up.
now
Oh, he
100%
was. He
sure. Yeah,
was. He was.
he
He
played
was.
Wiglaf. He played
Yeah.
That's right.
Wiglaf.
That's
I
right.
knew it. So there's my point here is there's connection between Beowulf and the specifically the backstory of Crom
Hmm.
within their culture. There's potentially some tie over that might be debated, but like the elements are a big part of the Beowulf fight, and Crom is like very elemental in nature, and I even love the way they display that within the movie, where it's like
Yes.
colder in
Yeah.
Crom's realm. Kind of emulating those like frigid Irish caves that you can go into because it's not a warm country, and so
Hmm.
underground is chilly.
Yeah. It's cold. It's dark.
So
Yeah.
Hope,
Yeah.
what is your like standout sequence? I love to grab like a scene that
Yeah.
you would recommend to somebody. Like if you're gonna watch this movie, you're watching it for this scene. Like this is what's really gonna grab you. What do you think that scene is?
So I have two scenes. One I mentioned before about when it's being attacked, because not only is it dark and it's gritty, but like the individuality of each person drawn, of the tragedy of each snowflake. Um so that was a big one. Like for pure animation style, like that's where you're gonna get it all in that one scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're gonna do another scene, I like a more whimsical scene, I would say, is when he's making that first symbol, when he finally gets his ink and he's using the eye and he's drawing that first circular symbol, and you see him like doing all the little tiny shapes and everything, and all the
Mm.
other abbots and brothers are like coming. He's like, oh, look at this, oh, look at this, and you look and it's just the most whimsical, beautiful thing being created. It's like just a little crest, but like through the eye it's so in depth and detail, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you want to look at pure straight up animation, that's what you fucking look at.
It's bold to make the first story for your production company be about creativity
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
not only that but displaying creativity.
Yeah.
That's a bold foot forward.
What about you?
Damn, I gotta say, like Brendan meeting with, is it Ashlyn? I was not
Aslan.
Ashlyn,
Aslan.
yeah. Their meeting is like, the woods are so gorgeous. Like this
Ah,
is that
yes.
it is the Ghibli equivalent shot of like when
Yeah.
you see the blues and greens
Yeah.
in a field. You know what I mean? That I think that for me that is the like, you must watch it and at least watch up to that point where he leaves the abbot and goes out into the woods. You gotta
Mhm.
watch it at least that far because you're gonna that it's so like beautiful. It is, and it's not real. It's crazy to me the way that it's representing the beauty of nature without being accurate to it.
Yeah.
That's what really gets me. It's like Ghibli's beautiful for like pumping the color up to 1,000 and then having realistic images.
Mhm.
This is like doing the opposite where it's like the colors are actually kind of like green muted, but
Mhm.
it's the depth and the layering and the
Yeah.
asymmetry. I love the way that they animate all the way to the corners of the screen.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like Disney's focused. If you watch a Disney movie, all the action's happening right here, like just right in that middle
Yeah.
dime
It's like a
of your
stage.
screen.
Yeah. It's like a stage
Th-
show.
They're like, no, we're going to animate all the way out into these corners, all the way down. We're spilling off the canvas. Fucking gorgeous.
You could take
Uh,
any still frame from this movie and turn it into a painting you put on your wall.
yeah. Yes.
Well, especially the scene where like she tells him where to find the berries, and like they're in that little like bubble, but it's still
Yeah.
like coming out, and they're like spiralies, and there's like the bees going, and like, oh, so good.
Hmm.
Climbing the tree. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
The
thought
woods
you could
are.
climb.
Jesse, how about you? What was the first like standout scene that like really grabbed your attention on your first watch?
You were saying just now is the scene where he goes into the woods for the first time, meets Aslan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It feels so fresh. It reminds me of Neverending Story, going across the plains for the
Oh,
first time.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Reminds me of that
Yeah.
scene. Yeah, it's that whimsical wonderment that we don't get in a lot of animation anymore. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's missing from a lot of modern day animation. A lot of stuff is kind of grim, a little dour. Even films that are beautiful to look at, like a Boy and the Heron. It's beautiful to look at, but it is a very dark spirited
Mhm.
film.
Woo. He's sad.
Yeah, or we get something like Mad God, where it's just wallowing in filth. Yeah, it's a perfect movie, but yeah, it ain't gonna make you feel good. Like this is meant to make you feel good.
Yeah.
And the fact that this whimsical movie goes even more whimsical, I like one of the scenes where Aslan gets Pengerbon,
The cat.
the
Yep.
cat.
The
You know,
key scene. Yeah.
yeah. So, and first off, this little girl who's voicing this shit is like has a beautiful little voice,
Yeah.
and she's like Pengerbon, and like singing to this cat. So not only is this whimsical drawing, but she takes this cat who has heterochromia, which makes it even cooler.
Mm.
Um, but then she turns it like into a spirit, and then it's even more whimsical as it like the cat's spirit like goes throughout and just like floats through everything, and then when the cat comes back to her, it's like, what the fuck just happened? What happened? What did I where did I go?
I
Like,
love how Lord of the Rings that feels, just to put like, because it's not a musical movie
yeah,
until that part, and then it's like,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we are still gonna pause and do like an animated like musical sequence, and so it feels like the dwarves singing a song. You know what I mean? It has that
Or
same feeling.
that I was gonna say, Mary's or Pippin's song.
Yeah.
Pippin's
Oh
song.
yeah. Yeah.
Pippin's song when he's singing while the fucking he's just like yeah, and
When
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Denethor is like just sending the entire
Disgusting
army out.
ASMR.
Yeah.
yes.
Ugh.
There's good
God.
ASMR and then there's bad ASMR.
Yeah, the tomato exploding was like, ugh, God, what a pig.
Right.
God
I
damn.
always love when I see memes where it shows him eating and then it's parallel to like a rabbit eating a tomato.
Oh God. Yeah. Or bunnies eating cherries. That's always funny.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Makes me think of Monty Python.
Exactly, exactly. I would rather watch the bunnies from Monty Python. Oh
Oh
my
yeah, it's I also love the design. One of my favorite visual designs is the design of the Northmen that are coming to the
mm,
Abbot.
Isn't that
They don't even
cool?
have faces. They're
yep.
just black voids with eyes. That's it. There's nothing to them. Remind me of what was that John Carpenter film, The Fog, where the
The fog.
pirates are on the
Okay.
Oh
ship. They look.
yeah.
They're just black shapes with red eyes. That's all they are. They don't really have physical forms beyond that.
Right.
it's
Mhm.
it's just so haunting to look at, and they're just completely unstoppable. And they technically win. They do
Yeah.
destroy the
Yeah.
abbot.
Yeah.
They don't get stopped. There's no fight. Yeah,
Well, it's
all
because
that
they
effort to
were
build that wall, and it didn't
yeah.
change anything.
And the fact is like they didn't practice he like basically stopped everything except the building of the wall. Like they didn't have any militia. Like you
Yeah,
don't have to have like an actual military, but you might want to train a couple dudes to throw some
Right.
spears or some shit,
Some
like
warrior
yeah,
monks. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
like yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Even the Buddhist monks were if they could still fucking kick your ass. Like
yeah. What's that saying? If you want peace, prepare for war.
Mm,
yeah, like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like so he neglected every aspect. I'm surprised they were even farming for food. Like
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, he kind of got very like centered in on that idea. I love the way that this just really effortlessly predicts and condemns the Trump era like
God.
mentality of, you
Oh,
know,
build that wall.
yeah,
build a wall. Nobody gives a shit about creativity. It's about money. It's about all the, and then like if we take the Northmen as just the winds of change, right? Because
yeah,
Mhm.
it's violent, but it's not like historically accurate either, and so I kind of take them to be like this is how you will react to change. You will bunker down and build a wall and be buffeted by it, or you will seek out creativity and get away from it and
Yeah.
be out of the way from those things and not be harmed by it.
yeah.
Like there's a deep message within this movie as well as being gorgeously animated.
Hmm. Yeah. Every empire is built upon the ashes of the previous one that thought it was eternal.
So I have a question for you, Jesse. Now,
Yeah.
so now you've seen The Secret of Kells. Are you gonna
Mm.
see The Song of the Sea now?
I mean, that's the sequel. There's two. There's two that follow after this. There's Song of the Sea, and then there's Wolfwalkers.
Which I
Um,
also highly recommend. That one's also a
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
banger.
yeah, and these are all just 75-minute films. These aren't long movies. I don't believe. I mean, they're. Now, this one came out in 2014. Was this also a Netflix production,
They
I've seen
weren't
all of them on
Netflix.
Netflix.
They
or they
weren't
or they were?
Netflix productions, but like I think for a while, in order they like partnered up to in order to they were like, well, Netflix is a big thing here. Take it so people know who the fuck we are
Yeah, I
because
think Netflix
Okay.
it was cheaper than like DVDs and marketing is to just partner up with Netflix and be like, okay, you can like lease our film so people know about it, and then
Yeah,
Okay.
Netflix gets premiere distribution, and then like all movies, it kind of goes into a streaming cycle of
yeah,
wash, rinse, repeat.
Gotcha. Ooh, Wolfwalkers was released during the middle of COVID. Ooh, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
it got hit hard with it, but it's
Yeah.
beautiful too.
Yeah. It's on Apple TV. Oh, there you go. I have Apple
Eh,
TV.
yeah.
I got
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I got that. I got all the science fiction stuff that I like. Yeah, I watch all these. Yeah, because they're not long. They're quick, easy, breezy. They make you feel good if if you like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're having a bad day, throw one of these on. They will make you feel a lot better. Yeah, because I look at like a lot of modern like Pixar animation or stuff like that. It's not much that really grabs me anymore. Like the trailer for Inside Out 2, I think came out recently, and I'm just like, I just don't care. I just don't.
Like I liked the original Inside Out, but the second one is like, eh. Um, I get what they're
Have you
trying to
seen the cut of
do.
the movie where they cut out all the stuff inside of her head and it looks like her just having complete mental breakdowns every single second of the movie?
That's
Hmm.
hilarious.
It's actually kind of funny. It's so wrong.
But like Pixar used to be like, I think the downfall of Pixar honestly is like when like they had Toy Story, great. They had Bugs Life, great. Once they did the sequel to Cars is when they started their downfall.
Oh.
I think that's what happened because Incredibles, amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bugs Life, amazing. Toy Story, amazing. I was the biggest Pixar advocate, and then it's like you made three Cars movies?
Yes,
Three?
only
Yep.
3.
Everybody
Shh.
seems to forget about planes. Remember that?
That was
Yeah.
technically Disney?
Well,
Um,
it's complicated because Pixar was with Disney for a while. They left and
yeah,
went
and
off to their
then
own thing. Then they went back.
back,
It's
so
I think what it is, Disney. Disney
yeah.
is the overlord now. Like that thing that sold about 10 years ago, make another one. Just make another one. It's just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They are the Blizzard games of the film business.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
said, with Up, like the first 10 minutes, I was blown away, and then it was like, oh, cute film. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Doug, but throw a fucking dog in front of me, and of course I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Squirrel. Hi there.
right. Yeah, it's Up is deeply like a personal character story, and I like that, but I much prefer something unique like this that doesn't feel
mhm.
like it's an amalgamation of the bankable things Pixar had created to that point.
This is
Like you
based
could,
on folklore, whereas Up is just you know
yeah,
Well, they did
it's
start come. I will say Pixar did start coming back a little bit in recent years because you have like Coco, which did Mexican heritage and lore. I loved that. You
yeah.
did Turning Red, which was,
That's
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
Asian heritage and like passed down generational trauma. Loved that. And
and
then they did
2000s nostalgia.
Yeah.
yeah, and they did Luca, which that was also
Yeah.
I loved Luca.
Yeah.
That
Was
was
Yeah,
was
so
Kubo and the Two Strings them as well, or was that
no,
DreamWorks?
no.
that was the la Linux.
That they're their own studio and they're
Yeah,
cranking out their own good stuff.
it
Looking at it now, Leica. Leica's doing
Leica.
this.
Leica. Yeah,
Yeah.
Leica. They've done a lot of good stuff too. What was it? They did that. They did Box Trolls. I think they did. Um,
Paranorman as well.
Wait, they did
Paranorman.
Missing Link? I skipped that movie. I am regretting that right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Leica does a lot of good stuff.
Oh. Oh my god, the director of Kubo and the Two Strings followed up with Bumblebee afterwards. Wow. That's a shift.
Need that
Hey, it's the
money, I
best
guess.
it's the best Transformers movie.
You're not
Needed
wrong.
that money.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, this one feels like a fresh, unique story. It's something you can watch on your own as an adult, or you can watch it with your kids. I would put a child in front of this before I put it in front of anything else
Yeah.
that gets made in America right now.
Yeah.
I absolutely would. I mean, this has some fresh value to it. There's deeper themes and moral values in this that everyone can relate to and feel. It doesn't feel ham-fisted. It doesn't shove it down your throat. Just
Mm,
Hmm.
just the genuine thought of, hey, maybe be creative. It might make the world a better place.
right.
Like when you just focused on industry, just it's that right wing philosophy of why don't you just go get a better job? It's like it's that bullshit that's getting shoved down
Mm.
everybody's throat right now. It's like
Because I'm
maybe
trying to
being creative.
feel fulfilled in what I make, right?
Yeah, but no, we need you to help the company. It's like, but fuck your company.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm in all these interviews right now as I'm looking for different employment, and I'm having like very frank conversations with people that are like, I understand a job to be I'm trading my time for your money. Is that how you understand a job to be? And if their response is no, we think of it as like a family,
I
click and
hate
hang up.
that shit.
Hang up.
I
Yep,
hate
I
that
I
shit.
hate that shit
It,
so
it it
much.
is time for businesses to get it through their head. I'm trading my time for money, and that's it. And that's fine. I'm not mad that it's an impersonal transaction. You're mad that you can't use your in-person stuff against me anymore. So fuck off.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried. Somebody, the company I used to work for that will remain nameless. I just did my last big job with them. You guys know the job that I
Mhm,
Yeah.
did.
mhm.
The last big one that I did with them. They tried screwing me over on my overtime recently. It took away 3 hours of my overtime because I was booked till 6 a.m. and they said, "Oh, we can only pay you overtime till 3 a.m., but we'll pay you straight time for the last 3 hours." And I was like, "Yep, that's it." Because a couple of years earlier, I was getting pissed about the same job in the same location, and they said, "Well, you can't get pissed at everybody." It's like we're a family here, and then immediately I was just like, flat line in my brain.
I'm
Fuck
sorry.
off.
First off, you're freelance. How is it a family of freelance?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, you try to pull that bullshit on me, and that was the point where I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Like, you guys, you're not paying me within the right time frame, and you're taking away some of my overtime, even though I was technically booked until then. And you're trying to pull this bullshit, trying to say we're all in this together. No, we're not. You're making
Right.
way more than I am. You can fuck
Yeah.
off.
I don't want to work for a company whose payroll is so bad that they can't pay the overtime that they have you work.
Yeah,
Right.
That just 1-to-1, not
you booked me till this time.
That, or
Pay
if
me for
they
that
can't
time.
pay the overtime, just say, "All right, well, letting you go."
Yeah,
Done.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you can't pay me the overtime, let me come back in fresh tomorrow and I'll get as much done as I can. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, simple as that.
Jesus.
Industry, capitalism. We're at the tail end of it right now. Remember that thing
Watching
I
it
said about
fall.
empires and ashes? Well, we're getting there.
You
And
know,
that's
it's
why a lot of what I do is I do the small businesses. Like right here, my one of my good friends, Reaper Clean, her small business of crime scene remediation, like I support her before he who must not be named company I used to work for.
right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. If you're a shill for big corporations, you are the scum of the earth. Just come on, man.
Yeah, it's cool to celebrate like small companies. Like Cartoon Saloon is not a big animation studio.
no.
They're teeny tiny. And again, they went to the Oscars with their
Yes.
premiere feature film. This is also Tom Moore's first movie as well. So
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
directorial debut, production debut, straight to the Oscars with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
And it lost to a big corporate film.
Yep.
that, but that's what has happened. I know I'm not even going to talk about like Ghibli per se, but there's been other like Japanese animation films that
Mhm.
uh if you go back into like the archives of like Mind Brain movies, we talked about one called A Silent Voice. Where the
Mhm.
animation first off, do you know how hard it is to animate hands?
Mm.
Like real
Yeah.
hands? First off, and then on top of that, they animated Japanese sign language.
Whoa.
What a pain in the ass.
So not only did they do really good work on the hands, but they animated a language that uses hands as the forefront. And that lost to a Disney film.
Yep.
And it
Yeah.
had a good solid message. The animation was great. Eh, Hands! That's all I'm gonna say is hands! Like,
Yeah.
That's wild.
fuck, it's hard to do. Why do you think in most American animation they only have three fingers and a thumb?
Right.
Like,
Or
Yeah.
gloves. Yeah, yeah,
Well, they
yeah.
were gloves.
Disney fucking gloves. Like they're the ones that invented that shit because they famously can't do hands.
Yeah.
exactly. So you just said fuck you to the people who did hands.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Again, we don't care for the Oscars very much. We don't.
And it's just
Yeah.
crazy to me that you can look at like the lesson of this movie, like you're saying, Jesse, industry versus creativity, and then we're seeing that repeated right in the Oscars of like having enough creativity to animate and make hands central to your animation
Yeah.
versus the big company that's just trying to get the check mark so that parents
Holy
know that they're still a good, trusted brand. You know what I mean? Like
shit!
like
Yeah.
I
the
just
Oscar for
realized
Disney feels like a branding thing.
Yeah.
they also did the breadwinner. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've gone to the
Mhm.
Oscars for every movie they've made, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't a one-off, like, Secret of the Kells was good and the other ones just didn't. No, they keep returning to the
No,
Oscars.
they
Yeah.
do for a good reason. But I knew the breadwinner. I love that movie. I didn't realize that they did it though. Holy
Mm,
shit, so good.
Mm. Yeah.
yeah, Cartoon Saloon highlight. Love to be here. Just respect on their name. That's
Mhm.
how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, corporate enterprise just taking over everything. It's just there's I used to like Dennis Miller before he became a fucking asshole, but there was a bit he had in one of his shows. He said, "Yeah, I love big corporations. It makes it easier to return shit." And that was all he had to say about it. It's like, okay, it's
Yeah.
kind of a funny joke, but
Yeah.
you can kind of tell that with his politics, you're like, yeah, that's all he believes. It just doesn't. It's just like, oh, I don't have to think about it. Just let them handle it. It's like, well,
Mm,
that's not the point. Like, you're missing the reason as to why this shit is bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if all you're gonna do is sell your life away to a corporation and just like shill out for them, then you're just not worth my time. You know.
Support small business and the little guy.
Mm,
That's why we don't give that first phase of Marvel enough credit. That was independent stuff, dude. They were making that shit on their own.
oh, yeah. The visual
Oh,
palette's not installed yet, so they actually look like movies.
yeah, they look like movies. It's not green
Old
screen
school
shit.
John Favreau.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
man, oh the good old days, man.
So, anyways, I think that should be about it. I mean, we could. I can keep singing praises of this movie and Cartoon Saloon and everything, but I at this point, it's like, just go check it out.
Yeah,
Just go
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it for yourself if you haven't already.
it's
Like,
$2 to rent on Amazon, and it's not that long.
yeah,
75 minutes. Come on.
it's support them, dude. Like,
I
they
watch YouTube
deserve it,
videos longer than that.
right?
We just did. If you can watch a Jenny Nicholson 4 hour, ass kicking about that awful Star Wars hotel, you could probably watch a 75-minute animated film.
Yeah,
It's actually
absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I so I think this is gonna slowly transition into summer, guys. And what's our big summer plans? Do we want to give a little sneak peek to our summer plans?
Yeah, we've been hinting at it, I think, a little bit here and there anytime Mr. Schwarzenegger's name comes up. But
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be breaking down the summer of Schwarzenegger. I am so excited to jump into every single movie that he's made.
Mm-hmm.
That's my summer project. It's going to be all Ani.
Yes. Oh, so excited. I love that, man. From Conan to Twins to even we're not doing his shitty stuff, right?
No, unfortunately, we are.
We're doing all of it, but it gets split up. That's the nice part.
Okay.
Everybody gets a good
And
a good Schwarzenegger movie and a bad
a
Schwarzenegger movie every episode.
Is he in all those escape plan movies? I really don't want to do those.
No, he's just in the first one.
No,
He's
no,
just in the
no.
first one.
Okay, so I can just watch the first one then.
So yeah, so we're gonna bring you the governor of California.
The
In-
Governor. God.
All right, so
Uh,
stay tuned for that, folks. And with that, I think we're gonna say good night.
Good night.
Night, everybody.